Hey guys, welcome to the Canada Puck Podcast, your weekly recap of what's going on in the world of sports, specifically hockey, and even more specifically, just hockey in Canada. Oh, look at that. I'm your co-host, Mick. You can find me on Twitter at ProfitMick. I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host,
Grant, on Twitter at Fourth Line Sports. Felt like a good double guns kind of morning. Very special episode. In fact, one of my most specialist episodes that I look forward to every year. I know we normally talk hockey, but today is the Super Bowl prop show. And the silver lining, it means the NHL All-Star Game is behind us and we don't have to talk about it again for another year.
Yes. In fact, the only reason I do this podcast is for this show. I don't even really like hockey that much. Just lay it out there on the table. Kind of dumb sport. But I know Grant wouldn't do a podcast just on football. So I tricked him into doing this. And once a year, I get my pleasure. Oh, I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry.
Oh, God. You couldn't have made that creepier.
No. And like I was like...
You could try, actually.
And like I was doing like the weird like this is a creepy hand signal. So... Oh,
if you had a pencil mustache, that would have amplified it a little bit.
All right. Yeah. But yeah, like Grant alluded to, we are doing a Super Bowl prop bet show. Maybe touch a little bit on the pulse of hockey. We'll give ourselves, I don't know, what's our like preambles done here and we're settled. 5 minutes? No hockey. Super Bowl props. Good times.
It's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a good day. 5 minutes. I'm going to wait for my little timer to hit like 2 minutes and go. So, ish. All right, so we can start. 5 minutes. Hockey. We took last weekend off because, as Grant alluded to, it was the NHL All-Star Game, which apparently was terrible. I didn't watch it, and everything I've heard, people didn't like it. The skills competition was apparently just an absolute nightmare. I'm really thankful that we've taken the stance of it's a waste of our time.
I hate doing this, but we hated it first, man. Like, we've been shitting on the All-Star Game for years. Like, we have never liked it. Waste of everybody's time and weekend. But I didn't tune in. I didn't watch the skills competition. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch any of the action on the Saturday or Sunday. I can't even remember. I think skills competition was Friday, games Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, didn't watch any of it. Didn't even fucking knock me off my stride. Didn't think about it once, but I did see the next day. This is old man yelling at cloud type headline. Dominic Hasek was pissed off that Ovi's son got to participate. I didn't read the article, but did you hear anything about this?
No, that one definitely is not on my radar.
I don't know. Yeah, so apparently, judging from the picture, it looked like he was in like the Ovi Jr. was in the shootout competition. Okay. Like I said, I didn't even read the article. But I think this just goes to show that, one, nobody respects the All-Star Game. And two, people don't take it seriously. The only thing that I'm interested in, and I don't even know if Patrick Kane was an All-Star this year, but I would want to know how hungover Patrick Kane got in the lawlessness of South Florida, where it's just like he could do his own thing without basically being shit on. I would want to know what happened with Patrick Kane in Florida, but otherwise, I couldn't care less.
I don't know if Patrick Kane was part of the festivities just because he's been hurt. Like, I don't know if he would have qualified for the Blackhawks. I don't know who the representative was, so I don't know if he was there. I feel like Patrick Kane's just like sitting alone in the dark a lot, being kind of bitter about his situation in life. How dare I make all this money, win all these championships, and now I'm here.
Stuck in Chicago.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a natural segue. Is Patrick Kane being moved? Are we going to see him? Because the trade deadline, I was thinking of this too. Yep. I was like, man, we're just a few weeks away from our trade deadline show. Is he being moved? And if so, where do you think he's landing?
So like right now, if I'm on NHL.com, as we usually are, Saturday mornings, and they had something where Patrick Kane was a little bummed because the Rangers didn't want to trade for him, and that was one of his preferred destinations. Earlier this week, they traded, it was like a first, Sammy Blais, and a prospect for Tarasenko, and maybe like Mikko Mikkola or something like that from the Blues. So that was kind of like their, in theory, big impact deadline acquisition, right? So we're going to start seeing moves like that. The fact that he's now off the table, the teams that I've heard are the Oilers, the Leafs, I don't know who else is probably like maybe Boston, right? Are probably the teams that are probably like around there. So where is Patrick Kane gonna go? Probably not anywhere that's gonna make you happy. It's gonna be disappointed. So he's probably gonna be a Boston Bruin.
Yeah, that actually makes me the most angry.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see Patrick Kane do damage in New York, though. Like, this guy would be showing up. He'd be going from, like, the after party straight to practice in an Uber the next morning. Like, that's the type of shenanigans that I could get on board with Patrick Kane.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we've kind of seen the price set with Tarasenko, right? It was the first player. I don't know if Sammy Blaze is anything exciting, right? But he was there, and kind of go from there. So, I don't know. What are guys willing to pocket up? I was thinking one of my favorite picks, I would love to see Erik Karlsson, your OG Karlsson, getting moved. And you know what team probably has some prospect capital, probably has some draft picks, probably has one of those blue lines that you're like, what about Erik Karlsson? He's already got the term. He can't leave in Winnipeg.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I should have opened cap friendly before we started recording. Can Winnipeg make it work?
You could pay a premium to get them to retain whatever, upwards of 50%, right? So like if Winnipeg's serious, like we want Erik Karlsson, we want to pay a discount. We're giving up like 2 seconds or like 2 firsts. We're giving up some prospect capital. We're gonna go through Vancouver, right? I know they've got some cap space. They're kind of in a rebuild. You guys take some cap space. We only take 25% of his salary or something like that for the rest of the term. Let's fucking go.
So that's an interesting perspective too, because you know what? We're past 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. We'll talk more next year.
Yeah, that's my tidbit. There you go. That was like my like spicy take that like dawned on me. I was like, oh boy, that would be something, right? Because like Winnipeg's playing some good hockey. You put like a stud like that into the system. I don't know.
It's been their shortcomings for like the last 5 years.
And because people don't want to be in Winnipeg, what Winnipeg should then do is just start trading for players who've already signed elsewhere and been like, we've done it.
Then they can stroke their pencil mustaches.
Shovel the elbow, just be like, everyone just assumes I'm great at drafting, even though I've never actually like produced anything out of all of my drafts other than just like hype.
Angry people who want to leave.
Yeah. God damn it. But, like Grant alluded to, our time limit is done. More hockey talk next week? You know it.
You know it.
But, I mean, also speaking, normally we talk. Right now, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Ottawa, as well as Montreal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Canadian teams are playing hockey right now.
The last 2 are the Saturday night games. Toronto's playing Columbus, and then Winnipeg's playing Chicago.
So pretty much the crappiest schedule you could ask for. Kind of nice that we don't have to talk about hockey and like bet on it tonight. We could talk about the Super Bowl. Every year, what we do is we have a gambling advice segment called Bettor Advice. We take 100 theoretical dollars. We bet it however we see fit, whatever tickles our fancy, goes from there. We were doing pretty good. I know I pooped the bed right before our little break, and so I'm like I'm up 100 on the year.
I went into the break with I went 4 for 4, so I'm up to about 800. It was a good week to be Grant White.
All right, well, Grant's definitely doing a lot better than myself. But one of the nice things is our sportsbook that we play with. They give us $100 free to gamble with at the Super Bowl, so it doesn't count against our actual totals, and we can try and chip away. I don't know, do some fun things. So what we're going to do today, instead of just arbitrarily telling each other picks, we're going to make it a bit more competitive and do a draft. So once a prop is off the board, I get claim to it. Grant does not get claim to it. This includes our actual picks on the Super Bowl. So if we wanted to make take a team straight up, take the spread. We're going to do that kind of in secret, though. So depending how we do, I might say I want my straight up pick first. That's my first overall pick. I will then reveal it at the end of the show. So we're going to leave a little bit of mystery, but we're going to do a bit of a draft. 10 props, probably $10, unless somewhere there's like a parlay or something like that. See how we do. Historically, Grant once wrecked Malcolm Butler's career.
I did.
Yeah.
Malcolm Butler was not allowed to play that year.
No.
And I don't want to tip my cap too much, but Jalen Hurts might be ambulanced off the field at some point in Super Bowl LVII. So, straight up, I apologize. This one's on me, guys.
All right. I was looking at a prop that would support that, actually. I was going to just hammer the Gardner Minshew overs at one point, being like, I'm not gonna mortgage my future on it, but like, I don't know, like $20 to just like have like Minshew's in at halftime.
Man. So, Philadelphia doesn't like to win with their normal starting quarterback. Maybe.
Nick Foles and Minshew, that's going to be the statues in Philadelphia. Yeah, I mean, realistically, though, even like Foles and Hurts as your two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks is kind of the shittiest two starting quarterbacks I've ever seen win Super Bowls. So,
you don't like Jalen Hurts?
Like, he's a really good running back, but I don't know, like, from what I expect from a quarterback, no. Like, he's fine for, like, a hybrid style, but, like, I don't think he's as exciting as Lamar Jackson.
Wow. Man, I disagree.
Yeah. I've never owned him in fantasy, and I know you have, and I think that's probably the difference maker, so I have no, like, emotional ties to him.
Maybe that's part of it. I went back to my preseason notes on the Eagles. I was, like, legit Super Bowl contender, and I stand by that now, and maybe you'll see some of that come out in a few of these prop picks. But I think Jalen Hurts had an exceptional year. And I agree. He's like, to me, he's like an upgraded Mike Vick.
Yeah.
I guess you got something against dogfighting too, Mick? You want to just air it all out on the podcast?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not the biggest dogfighting fan, so I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that one.
I think that's still one of the stories is that, like, a guy who was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL needed to get his off-season jollies by fighting dogs. Like, why don't we talk about this more? He went to jail in the prime of his career, because he liked gambling on dog fighting. Like,
oh no, he didn't gamble. I think he was running the dog. Like, I think he was like actually funding it. Like, he was having the facility and paying for the dogs. And
I know, but like, imagine that. Like, most guys just do cocaine or off-season drugs. Mike Vick was like, I don't do that shit. I fight dogs. And I just, like, if we take our, like, let's remove ourselves from the situation completely. Outside looking in, like, that's fucked, man. That is big time fucked.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. All right, well, thanks, Jalen Hurts, for being just, like, normal.
Yeah. From a literal dogfight to a metaphorical one, Ooh. Mick and I are going to go toe-to-toe with our draft pick. I don't know. Who's picking first?
I mean, I feel like Bettor Advice, clearly the segment owns you own the segment this year. It's your segment. You pick. So you win the coin toss. Do you want to defer?
Is it snake draft?
It is snake, yeah.
All right. Well, I know you're going to take this. If I don't take this first, I know you're going to take it probably very quickly. So I'm just going to go right now, and I'm going to say over 5.5 sacks. $10 at plus 122, so $10 to win 1220. Philadelphia, one of the best sack teams. Well, they're not unquestionably the best sack teams in the league. Patrick Mahomes he's playing with a wonky ankle. A high ankle sprain's nothing you can just walk off. So, what I'm expecting, I think maybe 4 sacks from the Eagles, and I could very easily see the Chiefs getting 2. They've got that. Oh my God. Who's their big sack guy? Young? No.
Reddick? Hassan Reddick, I think, is up there.
Chris something? Anyways. I know that I just have a feeling this one's going over. So 5.5 seems low. This is akin to the pick that you made a few years ago where we're going to see a whole bunch and then you're going to have to wait till like the second last play of the game before they get the 6th one. But I have a feeling this one's going over.
Yeah, in terms of like sack totals, sacks are a phenomenal, very underrated prop to bet because it's a fun thing that you can count during a game, right? And you can count along, keep track of. Works for both sides. Literally every single play, one of these can occur, right? So I do like that. And sorry, what did you say the odds were on that one that you had?
Plus 122.
Plus 122. Okay, 122. And then I will clear up all that at some point before we walk away, more than likely. I think you said
Chris
$10.
Jones, that's who I was thinking of.
Oh, for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool. All right, back to back. That was actually on my prop sheet, so that's too bad. All right, let's go with... I feel like the other ones you may not take. So I'm going to take my pick for... I'm going to take a point spread as well as a straight up pick right now. No. I'm going to take the point spread and my choice of over-under. Point spread.
All right.
And
so
I'll take my over/under.
I've got a whole bunch of other shit lined up here, so you go ahead. You have those. We'll reveal those at the end. I prefaced this at the beginning in some of my intro.
Should I just say I'm taking the over? And then, like, if you don't want the... Like, in theory, if you don't want the under, why would you waste a pick on that?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So you're reserving point spread, but you're taking the over.
Yeah, because I feel like point spread is similar to picks, right? So if I like my straight up pick, I wouldn't reveal either. So I'll leave it at that. So I'll take the over. I think I have it at... Must be like minus 110 or something like that. Are the odds?
50.5?
Yeah, something like that. So for $10, you win 19. $10, win 19.
That's it.
All right.
I did have the over on my sheet, and I think that you're on the right track with that. Two high-flying offenses. Top two MVP vote getters this year.
Even if you think it's under, betting the under is the most unsatisfying pick you'll ever do in the entire... Like,
especially the last game of the season. Like, you don't want to sit here and hope that these teams punt the ball to each other.
Oh,
like, my God.
It is just... And it's crippling to sit at the end of the game and be like, I want nothing to happen. I don't want people to have fun. I don't want an incredible moment to happen, right? Like, do you really want to be on that part of history? Monsters.
Yeah. I got $20 riding on the under here, guys.
Even though, like, you're like, oh, it's so simple. Just if nothing occurs, it's... You're monsters. You're monsters if that's what you believe, so.
Yeah. All right. I got two picks. I am going... So, yeah, as prefaced, I think Jalen Hurts is going to be a big factor in the game. And I have two picks that support that. First of which, so I was looking at this through kind of a few lenses. And I ended up talking myself into Jalen Hurts as the first touchdown scorer. And I can't reveal too much because I might need to save one of these props for the end. But Jalen Hurts, first touchdown scorer, plus 750, $10 to win 75. It feels like it's a good opportunity. One, because the Eagles' offense moves the ball very well. And if they get into, like, the Chiefs' secondary isn't the type of unit that's going to give up big chunks. They're not going to let, like, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe A.J. Brown goes for 75 yards and breaks the plane. Devonta Smith, who knows? But I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those games where it's like take yards in chunks, and then you get down to the goal line, and then it's like, well, we've seen Philadelphia in their master play calling in the big game. I could see Jalen Hurts being the guy to score first, so I'm taking that one.
Yeah, I like that. I like that play.
And I'm complementing it with, where did it go? Sorry, just scanning through my list here. Jalen Hurts as the Super Bowl MVP, $10, so it's plus 140, so $10 to win 14. If you haven't looked at the MVP board yet, Hurts and Mahomes are basically at the top of the list, plus 140, plus 130 respectively. And then the rest of them, Kelsey, I think, was next closest at plus 14, something like that anyways. And it kind of goes to show exactly what we're expecting in this game, and that is both quarterbacks to shine. I give the edge to Jalen Hurts because Patrick Mahomes is playing on that bum ankle, and I think one of the things that separates him is that mobility that we just didn't see not last week, but last time out, when it was other than rushing the ball on to get them into field goal and getting pushed out of bounds, like that was basically the only time he moved the ball with his ankle. Philadelphia Eagles secondary is pretty good. I know that there's probably no limiting Kelsey, but at the same time, I'm like, both defenses play good secondary. You're going to be able to move the ball between two quarterbacks. I think Hurts is going to be a little bit more successful. So I think Hurts is my pick at plus 140.
I like that. And I mean, I will make the joke. I will make the criticism that Hurts doesn't throw the ball that much. But if you're throwing the ball to Kelsey's the best pass catcher in the game. This game, the next two are definitely Brown, probably the other, what's the other guy? Smith, and maybe Dallas Goedert, and even like Miles Sanders are probably the next best pass catchers. So volume-wise, Hurts probably has the best chance to just continue to rack up points, right? And like just yardage and stats as they go down the field. So, and pretty much the quarterback just always wins the MVP.
Yeah, except Von Miller when Peyton Manning won it, because Peyton Manning throwing these fucking lame ducks down the field. They won with defense, and Von Miller was the best guy on the field that day. That's the only time I can think of. Maybe Ray Lewis won back in 2000 or something like that.
Well, and Cooper Kupp won last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that most of the times it's the MVP or the quarterback and the not quarterback just won last year, hammer those, like, MVP odds. All right. For myself, strategy-wise, this is fun because, like, I was just going to tell you my props. Now I got to, like, be... What exactly do I want? Let's see. I'm going to go with... I just feel like you don't have that one. I'm going to do a first touchdown as well. I found a prop on FanDuel. First touchdown, any tight end in the game, plus 300. So that gives me Kelsey, Goddard, Noah Gray, Forbert, and I think there's another person. And just the fact off the top of my head, I could tell you 4 or 5 tight ends. I'm like, all right, I like this. So first... Gronk, I think he got 2 last year, or 2 years ago. First tight end, touchdown, any tight end, 300. And next, and I had to take that because I knew that was like, you were right there. You were going to take it if I didn't. Let's take, I like total field goals in this game, over 3.5 for plus 130.
Damn, that's a play.
Field goals over 3.5, and that is plus 130. And those are $40 return and 23. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Again, just something easy. Will there be some type of defensive stop at a goal line and guys just go for points instead of trying to give a turnover? I believe so. And then do one of these drives just get stalled somewhere around like the 30 to 20 and they can't do anything and they have to kind of go for the points? I believe that happens. Although I could see them going for it more often than not, especially when it's close, like 4th and 1s. If there was like 4th point conversions, if that was a stat you were looking at, I would kind of feel like this is probably one of the games between Reed and Sirianni. They seem like they're kind of frisky, and they have kind of like new age thinking, and they might be the ones that be like, yeah, we're not punting this game. Punting does not exist in the Super Bowl, so.
See, and so when I was waiting to reserve judgment until you told me what the price is, plus 130, I get it. We could see drives stall, but my concerns are exactly the same as yours. Philadelphia has a tendency to go for it on 4th and close. And like, if these teams are moving the ball as effectively as we're expecting them to, field goals aren't going to win the game. So
no.
I think for this one to hit, you're going to need like a couple field goals on early drives. Like if they swapped out field goals on like, opening drives, sure, I think this one easily goes over. Yeah. But that being said, I do think it's worth a gamble because easily I could see this one coming down to a field goal at the end, and that could be what pushes it over.
That's where my mind was. I was like, I could see a field goal end of half, end of the game. So there's 2, so I need 2 more, right?
Yeah, opening drive, and then a couple penalties to push you back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're hoping for.
And
here.
somewhere in the third, like a team is up, they get within range. They're not going to risk it. They're just like, we'll just take the points, stat pack. There you go. There's the script of the game. So all right, Grant for 2. What is your 4 and 5?
So I'm building off of this momentum of like last field goal or field goal to end the game, and the prop is the last play of the game to be a quarterback kneel. I took no at plus 184. A bit of a roll of the dice here, I get it, but I guess what we're really hoping for is some flair for the dramatics at the end, whether it's like field goal, like one of these teams being either game tied or needing a field goal to push them ahead. Like, let's kill time and get to this field goal mark, and let's kick the ball. That's kind of what I was thinking. The alternative is like somebody scores late and it's like, well, play, and then it's that goofy lateral shit to try and get as a miracle play. That's kind of what my line of thinking was. It was like plus 184, like nobody wants to see a quarterback kneel to end the game. We're hoping for some excitement. $10 to win 1840 adds to that excitement. Man, what am I doing here? I want to take.
It's a wrinkle, right? Like it definitely, like it changes the strategy of just what you throw out there. So, Grant did say that this alludes to kind of our hierarchy, right? So if you went back and looked at our props, kind of how we pick them, this is how we're most confident to least confident, right? When we start throwing away Gatorade colors at the end, no one's confident on Gatorade colors. So,
no, this is 100% a confidence rating, and that's why I was so on board with it. I was like, I like this. Man, I had one here that I just can't seem to find. I'm just... there it is. All right. This one's a little bit out there. And maybe you'll even be on the opposite side of the coin of this. But any player to have 100-plus receiving yards, I took no at plus 235. Rationale with the Eagles, you kind of talked about it. Hurts is going to move the ball on the Chiefs, you're going to have to be able to run. And I think a lot of that is going to be Jalen Hurts moving the ball himself. Mm-hmm. But then when we look at the 3 main pass catchers, Smith, Brown, and Goddard, yeah, I mean, it's a coin flip between whether or not maybe Brown or maybe Smith get there. They would need to break off a big play, but Chiefs secondary's been playing good, so I'm not convinced on that. And the only guy I'm worried about on the Chiefs is Travis Kelce. And I know, like, I went through his box scores. He's had 17 targets in a game over the last few weeks. Like, he's a fucking workhorse. I get it. But at the same time, I like the Eagles linebacker core to keep him short. Like, they're not going to, I would hope that they're not going to let him break it off for big plays. So even if he has 8 catches for, 8 or 10, 12 yards a play on average, he's still going to fall below. So for me, at plus 235, I was like, this is worth the gamble. I'm betting nobody goes over 100 receiving yards.
I mean, I don't hate it, right? It's like that makes a lot of sense to me. You got to keep Kelce under 100, right? Just the volume alone, right? Yeah, right. You'd need 10 plus receptions to get over 100. I think Brown or Smith are going to have a big game, but I think it's going to be under, right? In fact, I'm just going to piggyback right off of you. I got AJ Brown. I got three ranges, so I'm going to pick. I've got 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, all at plus 700. And I'm just going to pick 2 of them arbitrarily here because I feel like that is definitely the range that he's going to be in. So let's do 70 to 90. No, let's do 60 to 80. So AJ Brown, receiving yards. My first pick will be 60 to 70. And then my second pick will be AJ Brown, receiving yards, 70 to 80. I'm giving myself a big swath and all at plus 700. So I hit one of those. I feel like that's a good way of like dividing my money at that point. Return on that, $80. Boom. I was pretty close with Brandon Cooks the 1 year as well. For something stupid, it was like 14 to 1. He had 120 yards and ended up with like 121 yards. And I was like, God damn it. It's really upsetting. So, now, that also could be Devontae Smith. So, if you were in real life betting that, I would look for one of those range for one of those two receivers, and I think that's probably pretty safe. They're going to get one big play between them. Probably not both. That's the way I kind of see it happening. So,
yeah. How many picks do I have left? Do I have 3 left?
You have 5.
Okay, good. Whew.
Yeah, right now.
I was like,
over sacks, you got Hurts' first touchdown, Hurts MVP, last quarterback play to be a quarterback kneel. You said no. As well as any player to have less than 100 receiving yards.
Okay. I got one doozy at the end.
Okay.
So that leaves me 4. All right. So we're on wide receivers. I want to snatch this one up before Mick goes to it. I have Devonta Smith as an anytime touchdown scorer at, oh man, the price just changed. It was, anyways, we'll go with what I got. It's plus 175. This guy's led the team in receptions, led the team in targets in 3 of the past 5 weeks, led the team in receptions, I think in 3, maybe 4 times over that stretch. He's playing a bigger role. He's got good chemistry with Hurts right now. I'm like Mick was mentioning, I'm expecting a big play, and I'm expecting it from either Smith or Brown. I don't know. I know that the trendy pick is probably going to be Brown because of the season that he's had. But from what I see from Smith, I just think that there's more value in him being the guy to do it. And he's got a good reputation in big games. So I'm betting Devonta Smith finds pay dirt plus 175, $10. And I'm going to complement that with Isaiah Pacheco over 46.5 rushing yards. So this is a $10 punt. Philadelphia Eagles are not good against the run. And I know that they get a lot of credit for the defense that they put on the field, and rightfully so. But they've given up an average of 120 rushing yards per game over the last 7 weeks. It was like 118.3, something like that. And 6 of the 7 have gone over 115 yards. We're not seeing it from Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he has the ability to run right now. Pacheco has led the team in carries and yardage in every week since week 10, week 18 notwithstanding. So he gets the most volume, and he also has a knack for breaking off big runs. He's gone off for 30 or more yards in 2 of the last 3 games, and I could see him doing that against the Eagles. 46.5 seems a little disingenuous because he could get most of that on one big run. So I was going to splurge on this one, but I'm just taking it straight up. $10 to win 909.
909. So that was minus 110?
Minus 110, yeah.
All right. 110 to win 909, which is 1910. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I don't hate that. I'm in one of that fantasy kind of league that I set up. I'm pretty much in first. I think I'm back of the first guy by like 7 points, but he had all Bengals. So, pew pew. And with my multipliers, I think going into the end, I have a 7-point lead. I have a multiplier on AJ Brown. He's got a ×2 multiplier on Pacheco, as well as like maybe a ×2 multiplier on Butker. So that's what it comes down to. So I think it'll be kind of fun, like from a fantasy point of view, to watch that. So every Pacheco play and every Butker field goal is going to hurt a little bit, but maybe AJ Brown. Oh, I shouldn't have picked AJ Brown props then. Stupid. I should have hedged.
I still kick myself for not. That stupid phone threw me off. I didn't get signed up for that in time. I wish I was a part of that.
The key to that was taking Travis Kelce in week 1, so that you got the ×4 multiplier of Kelce in the Super Bowl. So that was like But it's tough to take a player who doesn't get you points in the first week.
That's true. Yeah. That is a big risk.
But when he gets you 75 points in the second week, you feel good about yourself. It kind of makes up for it. So, all right. So 2 to go. I've got some ones that I like here. Do I want to do That one, no. Let's. I'm just gone. I'm gonna do, because I know Grant's chomping at the bit here. He just did Devontae Smith anytime touchdowns. So obviously, the next logical play when you're looking at the board is tight end Noah Gray. I'm really just going all in on this tight end nonsense. Anytime touchdown plus 650. He is the backup. There will be a lot of, on a goal line situation, I think we're going to see some, I've heard it all week, some two tight end sets. There's going to be a lot of action, a lot of just attention paid to Travis Kelce. Why not swerve, go the other way? Let's check out the other guy, Noah Gray. He's been playing pretty well, actually, over the Chiefs' playoff run anyways. He's one of those names that kind of gets thrown around a little bit on the broadcast, so I kind of like him to get a touchdown. Plus 650. And then with that, I guess I'll just abandon those. Is that what I'm going to do? And then I'll end with that one. Grant stole my sack prop that I really liked, so I'm going to take the other sack one that I had. So Hassan Reddick, one of the linemen for the Eagles. I like him at total tackles of over 3.5 at plus 135. He's just going to get a lot of action. I feel like that's probably one of those ones where it's also fun to watch. Now, when the Chiefs are on offense, I have a reason to cheer for the Eagles' defense. Why wouldn't you want that? So there you go. Hassan Reddick and Noah Gray, the two picks you obviously knew I was going to take. I've now got them. So total tackles.
You sandbagging son of a bitch. Right when I was lulled to sleep, you went take the Noah Gray prop.
Noah Gray, the most obvious one. So I also had, and you could, I'm going to say this, you could steal it, but it was the anytime touchdown plus team wins. I like that one because you get a bit more juice. Noah Gray's up to plus 1,200. So if I really am adamant that I think Noah Gray gets a touchdown, why not get double the odds and throw in maybe a little bit of a Chiefs win, right? I also have Dallas Goedert, 10-3. So I'm not sure exactly what that is, but if you bet $10, you win $43. Anytime touchdown and the Eagles win. So I don't hate those props either. Those ones I kind of like.
That sounds like it's plus 333, 10 over 3. I hate fractions. Yeah. Fractions suck, man.
Yeah.
All right, 3. I've got my doozy for the last. I've narrowed it down to my next two favorites. I'm going to save the meaty one for the end. I'm going to go back to maybe the less enticing one. But I've got an over on Kenneth Gainwell's 19.5 rushing yard prop. Standard minus 110, so $10 to win 909. As mentioned, both teams struggle against the run. The Chiefs are similar to the Eagles in the sense that basically since their bye week, opponents are running all over them. But it's not going to be... I think the difference in this game is that when we're trading offensive blows, there's going to be more of an emphasis on establishing the run and maintaining possession as opposed to just like, and there's not going to be an opportunity for those big plays. So I think that there's going to be a lot of rushing. Kenneth Gainwell has taken on a bigger role on this team over the last couple of weeks, and he's basically 2 big rushes away from eclipsing this. But I think we're not going to see a steady dosage of him, but 8 carries, 3 yards a carry easily gets us there. So Kenneth Gainwell over 19.5. The other one, and this is one of the ones, I'm so glad you didn't take it. I'm saving it from the end. It's one of the ones I like most. Will there be a defensive or special teams touchdown? I bet yes at plus 270. So $10 to win $27. For me, both teams have defensive playmakers, and I know it's less frequent, both teams also have special teams playmakers. I can't remember, the name's fucking escaping me right now. But last week, what set up the Chiefs' win was a punt return that moved the ball 30 yards downfield, so that all they needed was that 20-yard chunk, and then the rest is history. Mm-hmm. It would be a hallmark of a big game for a special teams player or a defensive player to step up and make a big play. And at plus 270, I'm willing to bet that happens on Sunday.
270. All right. We'll do 37. Cool. Awesome. All right. That leaves me with the final two. Yeah, I like that. And it's kind of, I don't know. I like how we're setting ourselves up to just watch the game, right? So, like, there's different elements in both of our plays that you can kind of sit and watch, right? So, from watching just A.J. Brown, I've got like a sweet 20-yard window where he's going to be at 61 receiving point, and then I'm just going to be like freaking out anytime he has a catch, right? But like I'm not refining myself to a play. I've got a couple plays, so or even just yourself, like anytime there's some fuckery and like all of a sudden a guy gets a ball on like a kickoff, a punt return, he breaks a tackle and he sees a seam and he starts running, you get to kind of like cheer and you're like, hey, let's go. So I like those a lot. As well as they just follow narratives. If the Eagles are up, they're not giving the ball back to Mahomes. They're taking as much clock as they can. In fact, if they're up, say, 8 points at any point, over 8 points, I bet you Hurts doesn't throw the ball. I bet you it just becomes, okay, guys, Boston Scott, Gainwell, Sanders, Hurts, you guys are just rushing. We're running the clock down. We're taking 2 minutes off the clock, hoping to get a first down. And that's the game, right? Like, just bleed that clock. So I like the Gainwell play for sure. And then my final two, let's get frisky. All right, let's get a little frisky. So will either team score in the last 3.5 minutes? Yes, at minus 215. So either team to score last 3.5 minutes. I like that, as well as we were kind of alluding to. I don't think there's going to be the quarterback kneel down. I think we're going to be a last second touchdown, maybe even a lead change, something like that. So I mean, can't say no to that. That seems like a monster. That does not get me anywhere though. It's only like $14.65 return on a $10 bet. And then finally, I'm so confident that I think I know what's going to happen. As I tried to choose the exact score, I believe the Super Bowl will be decided by exactly 6 points. I don't know why I picked that number. I have it on my sheet. I don't know if I feel super confident. But at plus 1,000, I will take $100 if that is the outcome of that event. So, decided by exactly 6 points. So it could be a team's up a field goal. They get the ball back. They drive down. They kick a field goal. And then we watch a team kind of need a touchdown to win. That sounds like kind of, I don't know, be like a final 2-minute warning.
I like it. It sounds like we don't have all the same. Obviously, there's no overlap in our draft. Prop draft, but it sounds like we're kind of expecting a similar outcome, some like nail-biting classic Super Bowl game. So I've got one pick left, and I would be remiss if I did not take a stab at the Gatorade color. This is coming, there's no science behind this. This is just a real shot in the dark, but at plus 1,000, I'm betting it's going to be purple. Couple points worth mentioning. One, who the fuck knows what the Gatorade color is going to be? It's going to be a roll of the dice, so why not just take the longest odds? Two, everybody knows purple's the best flavor. There's not a Gatorade. There's one superior flavor that we don't even get in Canada, or we do, but it's harder to find, and it's not even the same. Green apple is probably the only Gatorade flavor that could hold purple's stinky old jockstrap, and it's better in the States than it is in Canada. But at plus 1,000, if I'm about to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to have purple Gatorade in my cup. So I hope whichever team is going to win does the same.
Solid. Now, I do know that purple looks like clear or water or blue sometimes, because I feel like there was maybe a purple controversy a couple years ago. Yep. Where the Gatorade came out and they're like, no, that was clearly clear. And you're like, get the fuck out of here, sports books. Like, clear. It's not it's clearly purple. I mean, it looked clear on the pictures, but I was like, stupid Andy Reid in his red jacket.
This is one of those dress situations all over again.
Yeah, I like it. It is no Katy Perry cleavage prop. Man, that was a good one.
Okay, so I know Rihanna's a mom. I got nothing but respect for sexy moms. I'm excited to see the show. You know what? We can't get there. You got one more pick. You reserved.
No, I'm done.
Didn't you reserve side? That you didn't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't do my reveal. My first pick off the board. Let's save it. Let's save it to the end of the show. I own it. We can give our picks. I'm gonna keep some suspense going. So what could it be?
Ooh, all right, but so let's just get this out there. J-Lo, Shakira, hands down the best. Special recognition goes to Beyonce because she absolutely killed it, whatever it was 15 years ago. Katy Perry, the Sharks ruined it for me, but my God, that lady she just wins. She wins everything. Lady Gaga, nah. Jumping into nothingness kind of at the end, sure.
Yeah.
Kind of gimmicky, but I like it. But this year, I heard a rumor, not a rumor, somebody's thoughts or what they were expecting to happen. Predictions, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. This person, and I don't know where it was just a video on Instagram, predicted Jay-Z and Kanye show up on stage with Rihanna to do Run This Town. If this happens, how heavily booed do you think Kanye West gets? Does this salvage any of his image coming on and performing on the Super Bowl stage?
I think so very much. Just based on the fact that there's probably a lot of people that aren't aware of what Kanye West does, what he says, kind of who he is, and coming out and putting your face out in the public like that. I don't know if that would be a terrible idea, like a terrible thing. Like, I don't think it's going to be a PR nightmare, right, as you'd want to call it, or as some people might call it. So yeah, I could see that being image cleanse up, or like the start of the cleanse, right? You got to do some act of charity. He went out, he didn't get paid for the Super Bowl, but he showed up anyways and performed.
You are fucking discounting what Kanye West does with a microphone. He doesn't care about black people.
Yeah.
Or no.
George Bush doesn't care about black people. I mean,
what if he says something anti-Semitic? Like, we don't know what Kanye's going to say on that stage.
Oh, I see. I was thinking he came out and did like an actual genuine performance, but you're right. He is kind of a loose cannon, so I forgot about that part of it.
But imagine Jay-Z's surprise when he looks over at Kanye. He's like, why the fuck would you say that on the Super Bowl? So anyways, my sincerest hope is that Kanye and Jay-Z show up. And I know that I'm going to enjoy Rihanna, but I just want to see the fallout of Kanye being on the Super Bowl stage. Twitter's going to be fucking up in arms. All the other, what do you call them?
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. They're just going to be all over this. So I hope that would be what blows this up, is if Kanye shows up on stage.
And big disclaimer to anyone who's on Twitter and uses tweets to express yourself, there is now a new limit exposed unless you sign up for the blue check mark. So if you have not signed up for the subscription service, you actually do get a limited number of tweets per day. So don't go too hard too fast, because otherwise you're just going to be silenced the rest of the Super Bowl.
I didn't know that. I got to spend more time on the old Twitter machine.
I mean, I heard that like it might be like 17 or something. So like, I don't think I've tweeted 17 times last year. So
I can guarantee you Kanye West has tweeted 17 times.
Oh, but if he pays for the subscription, then he can tweet. It's unlimited. So
you think Kanye's a subscription guy? I don't know if he is.
No, I mean, yeah, okay, all right, probably. I don't know. I'd have to search Kanye West on Twitter. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing with our lives now? Is that what the show's devolved into? Kanye West on Twitter, blue check mark.
I was just surprised that neither of us hit up any, and maybe I didn't even see any on the books that I was looking at, but I didn't look offshore, so that was obviously my big mistake. Are there any Rihanna props that you saw? Even national anthem props? Like, did anything tickle your fancy?
No. Normally I stick away from things like I don't know if Kanye West is on Twitter, because I searched Kanye West and like he didn't pop up. Huh. Okay, cool. He's probably not on Twitter. No, typically, historically, outside of like Katy Perry's cleavage, I think historically was one, because it was minus like 1 something, even like what minus 190, and I put a lot of money on that because Katy Perry is basically boobs. Like, that's kind of her identity, right? Slash, he's got the long hair and the guitar. Katy Perry has boobs. That's just kind of what they do. So, other than that, I don't know if anyone's ever jumped out at me, and I don't... Because how do you predict that? right? Everything else I could tell you, like, there is a reason that I picked Hassan Reddick for tackles, right? Or like Noah Gray has been playing really well. Could he come up in a big moment? Do they need him? Probably. But we are going to see two teams that are, like, they're interesting. There's a lot of star power on the field when the game's actually being played, not just at the halftime show. And it'll be interesting to see how it kind of goes around, right? Like, I don't know if there's enough game for certain things to happen, right? We're going to be disappointed because not everyone gets an anytime touchdown. It sucks. Not everyone is probably going to go over 100 receiving yards, right? Just because of the talent, the way the ball's going to be spread around as it's being played. And then as well as the defensive games that are coming from both sides, I think are going to limit a lot of those things. So I don't know where I was going with my story just now or what I was saying. So were you following what I was trying to get to?
No, I don't know where that one was leading.
Good.
I was feverishly trying to find some offshore Rihanna picks that we could just spout at the end here, because I think that adds an element to it. Like, even if nothing else, if you're watching at home with some friends and you're doing a prop sheet, I know you're hosting a few people. My only request is include some halftime props on your prop sheet if people are doing that at your house, because I think it adds an element that just makes it nonstop fun. Like, irrespective of game, halftime show, even a commercial prop, doesn't matter. Something to just like make it, add that entertainment element to it to make it even more exciting, so that you're constantly glued. This is our last time to really soak up football for the next 6 months, 6+ months for like real football, 7 months until we get back to the regular season. So enjoy the moment. Okay.
All right. So I found some props. I just Googled it. So the total songs performed, over under 9.5 songs at the halftime show.
I know that they only do snippets these days, but getting up to 10 songs in 15 minutes, that gives you, that seems, I don't know.
A lot? All right. But what the number one song? So what do you think the first song will be? So Don't Stop the Music is the favorite at plus 250. Stay, 600. Diamond, plus 12100. And This Is What You Came For, plus 1300. And then Umbrella, plus 1500.
That was interesting. I was thinking Diamonds right off the top of my head, so I guess seeing that it's a little down the list, I would probably do that one at plus 500 or whatever it was.
Diamonds is the favorite for last song played at minus 125, and We Run This Town plus 400. So
I would take that at plus 400.
Well, and the issue with Please Don't Stop the Music, because I think it stops like from a dead start, no music. It's just, Please Don't Stop the Music is like the first thing you hear. So I could see that being like a really good opening, right?
Yeah, like bang.
Yeah.
Attention. We got you.
It's kind of there. Songs to be performed: Umbrella, We Found Love, Where Have You Been, Rude Boy, Don't Stop the Music, and they're all like big minuses. Like Don't Stop the Music is minus 3,000.
Damn.
So that is definitely being played.
I wonder if Rihanna's got some side action. You remember that South Park episode where, was it South Park? Anyways, I hope she's got action on this and she just fucking makes a killing.
Yeah, hair color, black, minus 1,000. And then any color basically gets you some type of plus money. Her dress.
What about blue?
Blue, plus 1,500.
Oh, man.
To make an appearance with her on stage, Jay-Z, minus 500. That sounds like a lock. Drake, minus 150. Eminem, plus 3,000. Kanye, plus 400. Okay.
So there might be some momentum behind Jay-Z and Kanye both being on the stage with her.
I like some of them, like Shakira. Why the fuck would Shakira be there? Like, I don't think they have any overlap songs. So outside the fact, like, well, she was at that one Super Bowl.
But, okay, so I think the only thing, what about Nicki Minaj? Because I think Nicki Minaj and Rihanna do a song with David Guetta, and it's a dance one. Is she on the list?
No. So that's definitely, like, further odds. Paul McCartney is plus 500.
Oh my God. Yeah, and if Paul McCartney shows up on the stage at the Super Bowl halftime show, that's just validation the NFL doesn't get it. Like, we knew the NFL didn't get it, but that would just be horrendous. Paul fucking McCartney.
Yeah. And then there was one here. Will Rihanna expose butt cheeks on stage? Yes or no at minus 120?
I mean, I would hope so. It's the Super Bowl halftime show.
But like,
and does it matter if it's top or bottom?
That's what I want to know is like, what is the qualifier of a butt? Like where does her butt stop?
Sorry, and it's butt cheek, right?
Will Rihanna expose butt cheek on stage?
The answer has to be yes. The answer must be yes. Like, there's no way to make this an entertaining halftime show without seeing a little Rihanna ass. Like, there's just... I'm going to be disappointed if there's no butt cheek. That, right. Like, that would actually ruin my experience.
And then we have, will Rihanna expose cleavage? Yes, minus 1 or 400.
She's got those sweet mommy milkers right now. I guarantee you those things are going to be maybe not like Janet Jackson exposed, but probably Katy Perry exposed.
Yeah, like, and then there was one, it was, I don't know where you'd find this or if it's on a legitimate site, but will she have a Janet Jackson moment? No is minus 2,500. So, I mean, I guess if you had a lot of money and you're just like, I just want to make something, like, her boobs probably aren't being shown.
Could you imagine? Well, is Kanye on stage with her? Because Kanye loves titties. I know that much.
You know how upset I'd be if I lost like $75,000 because Kanye West exposed Rihanna's boobs on stage? Not, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Not that disappointed. So like, I'm thinking maybe I should like move some assets around today and get some action on that.
Will Kanye West motorboat Rihanna at the halftime show?
So butt cheek. I'm fascinated by what is their definition of butt cheek. So I might have to do some research of like what exactly, like, what does Vegas consider a butt cheek?
Yeah, where does the thigh end and where does the butt begin? This is a philosophical debate that will rage through time.
Mm-hmm. Like, does it have to be some of the gluteal muscles that need to be, like, you know, if you like did a dissection, that like it is exposed? I don't know. What if she wears pants? What if she just wore like leggings? Like she just like really didn't try. Like leggings, comfy sweater, sat in a chair the whole time. She's like, I don't fucking care. Like she's like, I don't know why I signed up for this.
What you're describing is a Dallas Green concert.
Oh, okay. Perfect. That's just behind a drum kit, just like doing some solo. She's like, I'm just being experimental today, guys. Hey, look, Paul McCartney's here. Okay. Hey, Paul.
I'll keep you entertained.
Paul, do you remember that time you were in the Beatles? Okay, cool. Okay.
But we are approaching an hour. I still don't know who your pick, and I got to figure it out. I could ramble for this halftime show for a long time, but let's pump the brakes. Mick, who is covering the spread?
Woo! I just wrote it on the screen. Everyone knows. First pick off the board. I don't like it. I don't want to live in this world. I kind of want, like, I mean, I'm not opposed to living in a world where Patrick Mahomes has 4 Super Bowls at this point. Like, I'd be okay with that. But I do think that we are going to see Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew as Super Bowl winning quarterbacks for the Eagles. And they're not only that, but they're covering. So, Eagles, minus 2.5. I don't hate that play. It might even be greater than that. Like, I think it might be a bit of a one-sided affair, maybe by 6 points for the Eagles. We're definitely seeing Patrick Mahomes playing catch-up. Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, does not get to go up 21-0 and then let his defense just get him to the Super Bowl. That's not the world we live in. It's a shame, so...
Interesting. You and I are aligned on that because I also like the Eagles to cover and win outright, obviously, in a high-scoring game. We're basically almost assuring Patrick Mahomes wins his second Super Bowl title. Mm-hmm. But I do want to... Would you call the Chiefs a dynasty if they lose this Super Bowl too?
No. No, I don't think the team gets accolades, but Patrick Mahomes is kind of impervious to criticism at this point, right? Like if Patrick Mahomes loses, he's still historically one of the best quarterbacks ever. Like if he wins the Super Bowl, his career accolades are almost equal to Peyton Manning's, and he's been in the league 5 years. So statistically, Patrick Mahomes is great. If the Chiefs win, yeah, you can start talking about the Chiefs as a dynasty. If they lose, even then, like if they lose, Mahomes gets credit. The Chiefs are not getting that credit. So,
I concur. The Chiefs, 5 straight AFC Championship games, 3 Super Bowl runs, all with Patrick Mahomes under center. But in the absence of a second Super Bowl title in this 5-year window, they're not a dynasty. They're a perennial contender. They might even earn the moniker bed shitter, but they aren't a dynasty unless they have multiple Super Bowl titles. So we'll see. We'll see what time tells or what time brings. But there's a narrative, poetic component to this because Andy Reid spent so much time with the Philadelphia Eagles. It could be one of those like full circle. Like this one's getting time stamped as a dynasty if Andy Reid beats his old team and Patrick Mahomes, MVP, wins his second Super Bowl title with the Chiefs. Yeah. This is the dynasty. We're talking about the Chiefs dynasty now.
Which is funny because if the Eagles win, I kind of feel like the one narrative that has been thrown around a little bit, depending kind of what you're watching, is how easy was this season for the Eagles? Right? When was the last time they played a game of significance? They played Joe Johnson or Josh Johnson last week. They played Daniel Jones in the first round. They had a bye. Before that, they played like Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott. They had injuries galore, right? Like they'd go play the Arizona Cardinals the week that Kyler Murray was out. They'd play the Rams the week that Matthew Stafford is out, right? So like if you look at who they've played outside of Dak Prescott one time, I don't know if they've actually played. And Aaron Rodgers. I think those are the only 2 significant quarterbacks actually played. So we could see an ass kicking tomorrow, right? Like Patrick Mahomes could come out and light them up for 28 points in the first 2 quarters. At halftime, he's on stage with Rihanna already partying kind of thing. Like that is a world that we kind of live in, and the Eagles just they're like, we honestly can't keep up with this guy. He's absolutely incredible, right? So like there is that narrative, and the Giants and then Josh Johnson gets you to the Super Bowl. I don't know how I feel about that.
I did a look at this earlier in the week, so I don't. The numbers aren't super fresh on the top of my head. But Philadelphia hasn't played a team that ranks in the top half of offensive and total offense, other than the Dallas Cowboys, since week 4, which is a fucking sad state of a schedule. Things could change next year. Obviously, they're going to have a different strength of schedule, but it would kind of be. I would love to see Patrick Mahomes break out the cigars at halftime and hop on stage and just start dry humping the air while Rihanna's singing like "We Run This Town." I think that would be okay too.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna see it. Maybe we'll canvass the offshores. Will Patrick Mahomes appear on stage at halftime plus 1,600? Maybe it's roll of the dice.
There you go. And Eagles fans, I mean, if you win, you beat Tom Brady, you beat Patrick Mahomes to get your 2 Super Bowls, even though I think you're closer to like the New York Giants this year, right? Like you won, but you probably weren't the best team. You just were a team that won, right? Like you're not going to get the greatest team of all time. They lost a game. Yeah, but like you didn't really beat anyone, right? So like I think they're already going to get the asterisks, which is kind of unfortunate, right? But it is how the narrative should be remembered, right?
So I've been watching a lot of the Last of Us recently. What kind of apocalypse town will Philadelphia be in the morning if the Eagles win? Is this city getting burnt to the ground irrespective of outcome? They got a good reputation for being a party city.
Yeah, it's going to be rough a little bit, I think, for the most part. It'll be similar to... I think it'll be more resigned than the last one, if they win. Right? Like the last one was kind of a little bit more unexpected. They weren't exactly the favorites, right? They were the underdogs. This one, they actually are the favorites. So there's a lot more on the line, and you're like, oh, cool. I think even Eagles fans at this point, they're like, Yeah, that was a pretty easy season. Like, if they were all like that, that'd be all right. Like, that was a pretty stress-free championship, right? Like, there wasn't a lot of adversity. So, I think it'll be a little bit more resigned than the last one. If they lose, you're probably going to get similar to the last time they won. So that's when I think it gets kicked up a little bit, and cars are going to be burnt, and you're going to see some guys carrying palm trees around the city doing some fucking weird shit, so...
You know what the best part of all this is? The city of Philadelphia will pay people to lube up their street poles so people can't climb them. That's part of their city celebration rules. It's like, we're lubing up the poles, boys, so that people can't climb light fixtures and traffic lights and all that other goofy shit. So if we are ever retired looking for work, I hope our paths bring us to Philadelphia where we can be the lube boys, where we're just spraying down these things with KY.
That is. I only want to put KY on poles. That's the only reason I'm here. So
one day, Mick.
One day, and maybe here for the gangbang. So
awesome.
Yeah, good. Well, that was a prop show. Good luck to you, sir. I got a lot of money on the boards there. And historically, we're either off and we have nothing right, or we're like 60-70%. So I'm excited to kind of go through this Monday morning and lick my wounds, because I will be emotionally defeated independent of what happens. Part of me taking the Eagles too is I'm like, if I win a bunch of money and the Eagles win, I feel like I could live with that in that world, right? So,
well, at least we put our best foot forward, and all or nothing. Jalen Hurts is either going to be the MVP or he's getting wheeled out. Gardner Minshew might have a statue in Philadelphia at the end of all this. We won't know until tomorrow, but I'm excited to see how.
That's the one prop I'm surprised you didn't take, was will there be more than 2.5 people to throw a touchdown, right? Because you think Hurts, yep, Mahomes, yep. So now, like, where's the other one coming from, right? And is there a Philly special? Is there a trick play? If you can find that, it's probably not that actually great of odds. Like, plus 2.5 or something like that is probably like minus 110. So, yeah.
But we'll see how it all plays out. And if there is a Gardner Minshew moment, just know that Mick was probably the only person in the free world who called it.
Minshew. Remember that time he won that game in Jacksonville, and when he came off that plane and he had like the low V, like Guns N' Roses Axl Rose style shirt on. I was like, that guy's okay. Like, he seems like a kind of guy I'd like to have a beer with. So
the memes after that were the best. Like, the one that still sticks with me, and I will never forget it. When Gardner Minshew went to college, he tapped his dad on the shoulder and said, "You're the man of the house now." And I just thought that was the fucking best.
Well, Gardner, you know what? If he wins, like, I'm kind of excited for Gardner Minshew to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So, yeah, cool, awesome. Well, with that, enjoy, play safe as always, and be back next week for some hockey.
That's it. Party on, Mick.
Party on, Grant.
See everybody next week.